What's up, everybody? It's me, Chris, here to give my Clottey Afterthoughts. Real quick, though, breaking news. Floyd Mayweather versus Juan Manuel Marquez has been postponed. Floyd Mayweather injured his rib in training, it says. You know, unfortunate. I'm sure a lot of fans were looking forward to that. Not myself, necessarily. But, you know, HBO already had 24/7. They were promoting it last night at the end of Clottey. And this is a big fight, you know, so it's curious. You know, I don't remember Mayweather ever being injured in training before. I wonder if it has to do with the layoff, you know, the year-long layoff, returning in such a high-profile fight. He's probably training really hard. It may have to do with that. It may have to do with him getting older, you know. So this may play a factor to when the fight does roll around about how people see it. You know, they may give Marquez more of a chance because they may think, you know, his body may be becoming a little more susceptible to injuries and whatnot now that he's getting a little bit older and with the layoff and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects people's opinions of the fight when it does finally roll around. No date has been rescheduled for yet, so we'll just have to stay tuned. Anyways, moving on to the Miguel Cotto-Joshua Clottey fight. Miguel Cotto wins by split decision. I actually had predicted Miguel Cotto to win by unanimous decision. Let's talk about the fight. A lot of the rounds were close. First round, very end of the round, Miguel Cotto knocks Joshua Clottey down with a jab. It was very funny because didn't look like Clottey was necessarily hurt. Kind of got caught coming in off balance a little bit. But when he got up, he looked pissed. He looked very pissed off that he got knocked down. It's probably one of the most mad I've ever seen a fighter look after being knocked down. Hold on real quick. And I don't know, it's just funny. But anyways, rounds were really close. You know, it was interesting early on. Emmanuel Stewart kept saying that he thought Joshua Clottey was really controlling the rounds, controlling the fight, and looked like it was going to be Joshua Clottey's night. I didn't see any clear indication early on that Joshua Clottey was dominating the fight. You know, he was in the fight. It was kind of back and forth, but I didn't think Clottey was dominating by any stretch. Then come, I believe, it was the third round. We had the accidental headbutt and the big cut on Miguel Cotto's eye. To be honest, I was surprised not only that the fight wasn't stopped then, that it was never stopped. That was probably one of the biggest cuts I've seen where a fight wasn't stopped. But it made for a more dramatic fight in a way. You know, people had questioned Miguel Cotto, the way the Margarito fight ended, the way he went out, he kind of, you know, took a knee. People had questioned his heart and whatnot. I think this fight answered those questions for the most part. You know, he fought with a really bad cut, that bothered him throughout the fight, but he never quit. You know, he never really... he had opportunities, I think, where he could have told his corner, or the doctors, or the referee, you know, I can't see, but he didn't. So, you know, kind of proved his mettle there, so to speak, you know. And like I said, it definitely added to the drama of the fight. A lot of blood, you know, so to speak, that he had to deal with. So, I believe in the next round, maybe a fourth or fifth, Joshua Clottey ended up slipping on the canvas. It looked like he hurt his knee. He was down pretty bad. It looked like he was in some serious pain, you know. Arthur McCann did a good job of convincing him to fight on. You know, not to say that he wasn't going to, but still. The next round, sixth round, Miguel Cotto just had a huge round. He had Clottey's back to the ropes, and he just teed off on him. I mean, he really let loose. It almost looked like he could have stopped him. Not that Clottey was necessarily hurt, but he was just landing so many clean shots. It was definitely Cotto's best round, sixth. However, come seventh round, Clottey just took over. He came back and took over the round and won the next couple, 2 to 3 rounds, I believe, in my opinion. Thing is, a lot of these rounds were really close. Something really funny in the ninth round I noticed. Jim Lampley, Emmanuel Stewart was talking once again about how he thought Clottey was winning the fight. Jim Lampley noted, you know, that he thought that with the knockdown and the fight was closer than what Stewart had said. And Stewart kind of laughed at him mockingly, almost sarcastically. And Jim Lampley said something else, and Stewart laughed at him again. And then there was a silence. It was about the 1 minute mark of the ninth round. And no one said anything for about the next 20 to 30 seconds. It's probably the least talk I've ever heard during a fight on HBO broadcast. You have to go and check it out. It was just a very awkward silence, but it was pretty amusing to me. Anyways, last couple rounds were pretty close as well. Joshua Clottey was coming forward. Joshua Clottey's got that great defense. You know, early on when Miguel Cotto was throwing a lot of punches, he was landing a lot of them on Miguel Cotto's arms. You know, not really getting them cleanly through. Joshua Clottey got that really tight up-high guard defense, and it was working very well throughout the fight, as indicated by the final punch stats. Anyways, the last couple rounds, Clottey was definitely the aggressor. Miguel Cotto was fighting, counter-fighting, moving around the ring well. He was landing the occasional really big shot, which, when he would land those occasional big shots, then we got the crowd reaction, could have swayed the judges somewhat, along with the home crowd. The last 2 rounds were really hard to score. Although Clottey was coming forward, it seemed like Miguel Cotto was landing the more clean shots and was landing more shots. Clottey was coming forward, but he wasn't really throwing as many punches. So, goes to the judges' scorecards, makes it to the final, the whole 12, whatever. And Miguel Cotto wins by a split decision. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the decision, but more so I don't agree with the one judge's scorecard of 116-111. That would mean you gave Cotto 8 rounds and Clottey only 4. How you can only give Joshua Clottey 4 rounds is inconceivable to me. I just don't see how you can score it that way. I personally thought it was probably 7 rounds to 5 for Clottey, which would have made the fight a draw because Miguel Cotto had a 10-8 first round. Or maybe you could have argued for 6-6 on rounds, which would have given Miguel Cotto a 1-point round. Win by 1 point because, like I said, he had the 10-8 first round. Very close fight to call. A lot of close scores. I've seen different people on here talking about who they thought won. DeHaven, 17 Brandif, thought Joshua Clottey won. Borges thought that Cotto won. I know my boy Riddler thought Cotto won. David Chan and Budasai, I think they were okay with the decision, I believe. I think they were okay with Cotto winning. Like I said, I could see it a draw. That's probably how I think it should have been. 7-5 rounds for Clottey. But I definitely don't think that the fight was as far one-sided as 2 of the judges saw it. Those were judges also I noticed that had previously judged Miguel Cotto fights before and had voted for him, even though he did win those fights against Judah and Malinachi. And it did take the judges a while to turn in the scorecards, as Jim Lampley noted as well. So you always kind of wonder. The thing is, boxing is a very subjective sport. No 2 people are really going to see the fight the same. Whenever there's a controversial decision, really bad, like say Lewis Holyfield won, for example, everyone can pretty much agree that that's a bad judge's scorecard, or that's a bad decision. But in a fight like this, it's just there's so many rounds that are very close that, you could make a case for either guy. So I can see how, Cotto can get the decision. I can see how Clottey could have got the decision just as well. So I don't think anyone's really not everyone's obviously necessarily going to agree on this. I'd like to see a rematch, but it sounds like Bob Arum's going to try to work towards a Cotto-Pacquiao. He said, he thinks Clottey deserves a rematch, but financially it makes more sense to make Cotto-Pacquiao, meaning financially it makes more money for him and everyone else involved. It's unfortunate for Clottey. I believe he gave up his WBO title to take this shot. Now he doesn't have a title, and he's probably not going to get any big fights. He's still high risk, low reward. He's still a tough out, so it's a very unfortunate situation all around for Joshua Clottey. Hope he does get some fights because he's a really good fighter and he deserves it. If not at welterweight, he could always move to junior middleweight. He's a really big welterweight. So I just hope to see him get some good fights because I think he's earned it. As for Miguel Cotto, said he's going to take some time off. Hard to say what he's going to do from here on out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacquiao fight's made. Maybe a Mosey rematch, who knows. But either way, it's a really good fight. Really exciting fight. Like I said, with the cutout, a lot of drama. Didn't necessarily agree with the decision, but I can see Cotto getting the decision, but just not by those scorecards. Once again, I had it a draw. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on the fight, who you thought won and why. That's pretty much it, though. I'm out of here. Till next time. Bye.